They travelled on up through the night, the forest still thinner. Trees became smaller and more twangly, and amongst the trees large rocks towered above them. Woolawoo scuttering up rocks, or leaping into tree and from tree to rock, always watching her dearest friend pootling along below. They will not reach the top of fine Grandmother Mountain this journey, but we can. Why, close your eyes and fly up with me in your imagination now. Up, up we go, seeing rocks and trees passing away beneath us. Up, up, until we reach the top. See it in your mind's eyes. The sky a rich glitterment of thousands of stars nearly all around us. Guava trees with long swangly limbs swangle their limbs to the glittering stars, casting their crimson light beams up into the endless sky in an urge of unattainable love. Stars whose flickering raiment echo to them of a long, long ago home. Above us, we feel a starburst of light that trickles down around us like a shower. See and feel that light. It flows not only over our heads now, as we breathe it in, it flows around us and through us, down through our whole body. Relax and breathe. The more we relax and breathe, the more light pours through us and around us. It is the light of magic and of stars. From down below, we feel the wet, warm wind rise up to meet us, wafting our faces. In the moist warmth and sweet smell, a sweet smell comes up from the valleys and hills below. It says, "Come down to us. Come down." Keep your eyes closed and follow the scent down, where we see the wet, marshy blue hills at the foot of Mother Mountain, the hills of Lamuni, of slender blue grass and flowers. This is where the great river is born. Bubbling up from the ground, she separates as little gurgling bubbling streams. Up from the ground, she separates as little gurgling, bubbling streams. They are known as wurgles. Maybe you can hear these streams, or imagine them this night, gurgling up. And then down the hills they bubble, becoming like little see-through snakes. Down, down, to marshy, warm, steamy air, more solid ground, with longer purple and blue grass and big rocks. Huge rocks. When we look up, we see on top of the rocks more guava trees, framed by a rich, starry twinklement. Standing thin yet bold, dark red trunked, they reach up to the rich twinklement above them, swangling their rubber-like limbs in the vast glitterment, once long ago their home. They may never know the soft or vibrantly fierce showers of light that these stars gently rain down to them, and to other plants and creatures also, for they are lost in wanting to return to where they came from. We wonder if they will ever stop in their swangle, still themselves and open long enough to catch the starlight falling, slowly awakening and growing the white flame of their own starlight inside themselves. deep rich in their hearts. And also from below, from the earth, known in this world as Eriu, who holds them and nourishes them. Then they would find peace and satisfaction of already having and not wanting, not trying to reach for the stars. And all they need is allowed then to come to them. Yet even in their urgeful swangling, it keeps a balance in the dance of life, where creatures are lost, then found, keeping always journeys of adventure. The bubbling water flows past rocks and over smaller rocks, meeting more guiba trees. Their gentle feathery roots begin to strokingly father them into a stream. The stream dances along, whooshing mud and curling stones along with her, and in her dance she carves walls for her new muddy riverbed, her dance with her earth, her lover. Further down now she powerfully flows, as the earth gives her space, holding her freely but firmly for her elegance, like a trained male dancer. She picks up speed, laughing over pebbles and lopping over rocks, until as a small river she meets the forest and begins to slow her dance, becoming more peaceful. At this stage in her journey, she is known as Shumtia. Shumtia feels the starlight that twinkles upon her surface, but also nooshes wooingly within her. She feels the secret hums of the trees and plants, all different songs in their growingness of being alive, adding to her own song. And along with the mystery of the stars and nourishing life of plants, she feels the sun, like a loving smile of a grandfather, reminding her that she is love. She is known now as Shumtia, her name meaning knowing that she is in all things, and indeed she is. And she dances, tinklingly and blissfully and constantly with her lover, the earth, that cradles her and is reliable. In her journey through the forest, she meets floppy heart-shaped leaves on flowering vines, wuzzing insects, fluffsky animals that we can describe as flouncy, equally flump or begaggling. They happily lup of her richness before they beakle along their way. She meets pink and blue fishes of all shapes and sizes, giving no time to rest with them. She just enjoys that they are a part of her dance also. Just like the sunbeams speckled with dust that move gently, searchingly they do, revealing momentarily the odd fish face or flick of a tail. Soon, Shumtia races along again and dives over a big cliff, down into one big river, where the water floughs and swells, for she is met now by another part of herself, the deep earth river that rushes up from a cave below the waterfall, who forest creatures around this area know as Muna. She has explored the deep underworld, aside from the part of her that is Shumtia, that has explored inside trees and animals, been sucked up by sun and sky, drifted as clouds, rained back down, guided by rocks and roots, back to this place. And now she is reborn, whole and renewed, to start afresh. two parts of herself reunited. She is now called Shumuna, the Mother River. She flows deep and strong into the forest and soon becomes peaceful again, almost still. And this is where our adventure will continue. But for now, our two travelers are still on the mountain, but not far now from the same side as our Mother River. Chapter 7. At the foothills of Mother Mountain, yet still high up from the deep forests and valleys, our two adventurers climbed. Wooloowoo let Wangdoogly snuff up the rising forest scents a while longer before they left the last of the forest trees for a grassy rock hilltop, leaving the forest scents swirling and writhing like snakes of music behind them. Only small puffs of rockflower song kissed Wangdoogly's nose now. Open ground, starry sky all around. It was there, upon gazing up into the twinklement, swish happened. And swish, 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 it said, as it slid across the sky in blue-purple light splendor. From the same direction, another swoosh, leaving a purple glitter in the oolong sky, and then another. Did thee see? Woo-ooed Wooloowoo. Wangdoogly's big black round eyes widened, and a tingling wooed his stomach to smile. Pointing the way the swish came, Wangdoogly said, "We go that way, yes?" Woo-ya! Wooloowooed. Now Wangdoogly was out of the forest-scented dream. A swish, swish, swish had awakened him. Too awake. As Wooloowoo watched him, she saw his eyes gold, as excitement again rushed him in the direction the swish had gone. Wangdoogly ran. His floppy back legs and little flap tail galumping away from Wooloowoo into the blue-silvered darkness. Down a rocky slope he galloped, with Wooloowoo ticking him to stop. She was worried, but he did not stop, and did not see clearly in the night's waned moonlight that the ground stopped. The trees hung down into a steep drop into nothingness, where Wangdoogly momentarily found himself in nothing. All around him, for a silent moment, Wooloowoo saw him wildly wiggling in it. Then he dropped, poinged as he hit the ground, and continued to bloop, boing, bloinching, into a lower, steeper slope. Then he rolled and rolled down the pebbly, bare ground, tumbling around and around. Wooloowoo jumped big and long from rock to rock, trying to keep up, companioned with her Wangdoogle. Slip, slip, Wangdoogled oogly. Now over small bushes, past small trees, and out, airness, no ground, snout up, and down he dropped. Down, while Wooloowoo watched him disappear. She reached the cliff edge and scrambled up a soft-leaf una tree growing on a rock close to the edge. The starry night spread above Wooloowoo as she looked around, tears filling her eyes and trickling down her soft cheek. A gentle breeze ruffled her face fur. She straightened and jumped, but landed a short distance below the tree on a ledge of rock. She crawled to the darkness at the edge of the ledge and looked down, hoping to see her friend, but only darkness met her and did not like her. So she turned, scrambled back up to the top, and ran back up the slope and into the big bushy glade, just beside the forest. She sat, panting. Sadness whooshed her belly. A wave of fear carved through her belly like a big metal boat. A feeling when you lose something or someone who comforts you and is precious. As she sat alone and sad on the hillness under the starry twinklement, she remembered her grandfather, his words for a time like this. Her grandfather helped himself and others feel better by breathing quietly with his eyes closed and being there for himself, his feelings and his pains, like the best grandparent in the world. It helped grow his heart's son, and helped him care for others, and it helped many creatures. So to feel better, Woolawoo closed her eyes and tried to be the best grandparent, listening to her child, to her pain. This did not work, not this time. She tried another technique, which was to remember the first look her mother ever gave her after birth, and surprisingly, she could. She then gave space to her feelings, full space and listening, as her sadness and fear spoke to her of being alone, always alone, and of missing Wangdoogly. Woolawoo continued giving space and careful motherly listening without pushing it away or trying to change it, just breathing and listening to all that was said by her sadness. Her sadness slowly curled away like smoke, and her true self sat strongly within her, silent and love. Woolawoo noticed a difference this time. She saw her true self had replaced the wounded self. She noted that she had genuinely cared for the wounded self, but not fed it. Of course, she thought, why would a parent become their children's pain? That would help no one. And she did not wish to be no one. After a while, she felt and still. Then she softly stroked herself, her arms, chest and face. Fresh and calm now, she felt happy and loving to all creatures who felt alone, frightened or sad, and wished them never to be alone, or to be happy when alone when they were. She was learning true Woola healing. She wondered whether she could be happy alone if she really embraced only herself one day. But then a knowing came up from inside her, like a fish swimming up from the deep. It was not her destiny, nor the dream that unwombed from the land's first hope. The hope of the goddess of the land, Eriu. And she longed to fulfill this hope. She loved this world. Woolawoo bent and gently kissed into the ground and nuzzled the wet, fluffy purple gherkin that grew there. She sat up, and as if in response, Eriu flowed up from the ground below like water flowing into her body. She shone with strength and light. Behind her, a gentle breeze brushed the uja vine, making it creak. The breeze danced a swirl around the glade and blew to her in caressing bluffs of kisses. She breathed it in and was filled with happiness and tinkliness.